family, Dr. Anta here. Welcome back to another episode in the series Poverty, Inherited, Illusion, or Reality. This episode will focus on poverty and mental health. Globally, mental health conditions are increasing, specifically after the COVID-19 pandemic. Mental health conditions significantly affect all areas of life, namely growth and development, families, community involvement, academic performance, and work ethics. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, mental health conditions now cause 1 in 5 lived with disabilities. 20% of children and adolescents have a mental health condition. Suicide is classified as the second leading cause of death among age group 15 to 29. Several mental health conditions can result in individuals dying prematurely from preventable physical conditions as early as 2 decades. Approximately US $1 trillion annually is estimated to be spent on depression and anxiety, 2 of the most common mental health conditions. The big question that should be in your mind would be whether mental health conditions can be effectively treated and managed relatively cheaply. Let's focus on one fundamental cause of mental health problems: poverty.
빈곤이란 무엇이라고 생각하는가? 첫 번째 질문에 대해서 개인적으로 빈곤은 내가 가진 결핍, 개인에 대한 문제이면서도 세계적인 문제가 나타나고 있습니다. 제가 사는 한국은 경제적으로, 사회적으로 빈곤 문제가 적은 국가이긴 하지만 그렇다고 빈곤 문제가 없는 것은 아닙니다. 뿐만 아니라 OECD 국가 안에서 빈곤의 문제는 존재하기 때문입니다. 노인, 환경, 가난, 기초소득 이하로 생활하는 사람들이 존재하기 때문에 빈곤의 문제는 개발도상국의 문제라고 할 수 없습니다. 뿐만 아니라 세상은 문명이 발달되면서 정신적인 결핍을 가져오기도 합니다. 새로운 정신적인 빈곤의 문제는 지구촌 사회에서 선진국 등에서 더욱 새롭게 문제가 되고 있습니다. 그리고 두 번째 질문에 대해서는 현재 나의 상태는 빈곤한가 묻는다면 그렇지 않다입니다. 하지만 어떠한 잘못된 결정을 하였을 때 상황이 만들어진다면 분명 내 자신도 빈곤 문제를 갖게 될 거라 생각됩니다. 세 번째 질문에 대해서 빈곤을 해결할 방법이 있는가? 네이기도 하고 아니요이기도 합니다. 경제적인 빈곤, 기아, 환경 등에서 국가 안에서 문제의식을 느끼고 해결해 나가려는 의지가 있다면 빈곤 문제가 줄어들 것은 확실합니다. 하지만 줄어들 뿐이지 완전히 없앨 수는 없습니다. 문제의식을 가진 국가뿐 아니라 주변 사회에서 같이 이 문제를 이타적으로 함께 고민한다면 고통은 줄일 수 있다고 생각합니다. 그리고 그러한 사회 문제를 알리고 방법을 찾을 수 있는 교육을 꾸준히 하면서 사례들을 공유하고 실천한다면 충분히 고통을 나눌 수 있다고 생각합니다.
In your opinion, what is poverty?
Poverty is about not having enough money to meet basic needs, including food, clothes, and shelter.
Do you consider yourself poor?
No, I'm not considering myself poor. We are not poor, but things is very hard and rough. Sometimes things they good, sometimes things bad. So we have to thank the Lord for everything.
Do you think there is a solution to poverty? If so, explain why.
Yes, you cannot rather not to education. If all adults complete secondary education we should cut the global poverty rate by more than half.
A psychiatrist from Mexico and a registered psychiatric nurse from Barbados will further expound on this topic, poverty and mental health. Please provide us with a brief statistic report on poverty and mental health in your country, primarily focusing on gender, race, and age.
My name is Larry Blackman. I'm a mental health nurse from Barbados. Provide with a brief statistical report on the poverty and mental health in Barbados as it relates to gender, race, and age. As for my eyes, this during the 20 to 21 era where there was a pandemic, it was highlighted really. It was quite evident that, situations would have gotten worse. A study by UNICEF of July 2021 showed that there were 32% of young persons living in poverty in Barbados. Also, this also affected every gender, race, and age. It didn't have any, discriminating factors. Everyone was affected, from the young to the old. Also, they mentioned, and there was another study in 2019 by UNICEF, that there were 40% poverty rate for males, while the females were at 21%. And the spike in mental health cases were on the increase. You found younger persons having more suicide attempts due to the isolation of the pandemic, not being able to get out there, communicate, socialize, and there was an uptake in suicide attempts by younger folks. I'm not sure the percentages, but definitely there was an uptake in suicide attempts by younger folks.
Hi, I am a psychiatrist from Mexico. I would like to let you know that here in Mexico there is like about 39% of the adult population has symptoms of depression and anxiety derived from the last COVID pandemic. About the 23% meet the symptoms of the post-traumatic stress disorder of the general population. Most of them are more about the 31% of the health professionals. In terms of gender, females are more capability in order of they are more frequency of women be affected with those symptoms and male in less quantity. Poverty is one of the big diseases that we have here in the country that affects seriously about the mental health of the society in order of they looking for depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic due to the lack of situations.
How does poverty affect the mind, and can it be associated with mental health?
Poverty causes people to behave in various situations, and definitely stressors if the situation are not conducive to happiness, and it definitely will have a significant impact on the way how people behave, and it also affects the mind, the thinking process. They believe they're stuck and can't get out of this situation. So definitely, I would say that poverty, definitely can impact on the way that someone behaves.
All the symptoms that happen due to the pandemic and the post-traumatic symptoms, the most popular mental disorder that we can find here in our country is depression, autism, anxiety disorders, stress, panic crisis, agoraphobia, and claustrophobia. Most of them is because the general population live in not good conditions, and that is the main reason that they have the bad luck, if I can say, to live in the really poverty situation, that the poor situation affect all the all the neurological system, and that's the main reason for all the disorder can happen.
Is there a poverty disorder?
My answer to that would be no. It is a condition created by um, policies that are put in place by persons, which do have an impact. Cost of living, food prices. Some people can, it then comes back down to the social and economic situations that persons are placed in. So for me, it is something that a question that I would consider that I wouldn't say is a disorder. I think that it can be rectified by generally. So I would say no to that.
There is no poverty disorder here in Mexico. However, due to the conditions that the people live, the lack of situations, the lack of food, the lack of meal, that is a really contribution that people are starting to get mental disorders.
Could poverty predispose to a mental health crisis?
Definitely, I would say yes. Um, Persons experiencing poverty, having lack of resources, lack of money, lack of finances to do things that will help to make better for them, and they don't have the necessary resources and the tools to get do this. What happens is it start to play on the psyche. Sometimes it sends people to do things that they normally wouldn't do, just to get money, to get a different sense of weird direction in terms of their lifestyle. Whether it be criminal, selling drugs, doing things. So I would definitely say poverty could predispose to a mental health crisis, and it is true to that. Yes, I would agree.
About if the poverty can cause a mental disorder crisis, there is no conclusion about that part, but the experience is due the all the situation that this provoke. Most of the people starting to get with a lot of mental disorders. So I think that could be a possibility. There is a big chance that people suffering mental crisis.
What are the possible causes of mental poverty?
So my question is quite simple. It then comes back down to the social and economic conditions that play a significant role in mitigating health poverty. So it comes back down to the persons in charge dealing with specific policies, putting the correct policies in place. And not having those policies in place causes persons to experience critical mental health issues due to poverty. And it is clear that, those are the social and economic engines that drive what type are makes the difference between what type of mental health someone can attain.
Thinking about the possible causes of the mental poverty, we think that the mechanism for mental poverty causing mental ill health. That means, for example, worries and uncertainty, the anticipation of economic shocks. Not just their concurrency may cause mental illness, also, although it's stress disorder because they can afford many things. The environment factors like way to living, work, environment, culture, the physical health. This is very important matters because if they are not strong enough, they can all the time suffering crisis, and that is the consequences of the mental disorders. Also, the every life conditions is pretty big importance in situation do with the at the time they started to growing up on the environment and the people that they live with, the education that they receive, the health process as well. Also, a cause would be any infant trauma, violence, or even the crime. That's one of the most popular ones or the most important things.
Do you think there is a possible solution to poverty-related mental health disorders?
Yes, I do. And strictly, simply put it, the issue is a political one. So, but when I say this is that persons in power produce or provide the different shape to help shape poverty. The policies must be in place to make change in the everyday person's lives. And if the policies are not the right ones and they're not implemented correctly, that will cause a severe hardship on those that are experiencing poverty already. And therefore, it means then that thing. So my thing is, you have to have the right policies in place, which will make a difference. I think it definitely can make a difference, going forward, and which will make impacting then on the quality of life that a person can live and the things necessary to achieve that basic and at least come out of that poverty, the life of poverty, is very important.
The most important about the solution, I think, is everything the government around the world has to work pretty hard in order to change on the environment, provide all the needs for the population, and also increase and improve the qualities of life. That's the main important thing. All these little details made the difference that the people get mental illness.
In your parting words, please give us your opinion on the topic for the Poverty Inherited Illusion or Reality series.
My answer to that, it would be a reality series. Poverty is quite there. It's there for everyone to see. It's visible. The social and economic factors that are placed on a society every day. Cost of living is skyrocketing. Persons, for some reason, have issues with, whether it be family members, drugs, trauma in their life. And it's appearances out there for seeing the quality. It does impact the quality of life, basically. So I would definitely have to say that it is more a reality series versus an illusion, because everyone is out there trying their best to stay above, while there are others who just don't have the necessary tools due to the policies that are in place.
About the series, it's a really interesting series because you can see all the different variations of mental disorder that happens. So it's a really interesting series to take a look at. So I recommend it.
Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Darwin from India. I have seen Miss Antoinette's inspiring video about poverty. I would like to share my thoughts regarding this. What is poverty? Poverty is a state where you suffer for your daily food, shelter, education, and the health needs.
Ini ndichapindura mubvunzo yako mitatu nechishona. Shona ndiro rudzi rwandinotaura, ene ndiro rudzi runotaurwa muno muZimbabwe. Urombo chi mubvunzo wako wekutanga. Kwandiri ndinoti urombo kushaya chekudya, kushaya chekupfeka, kushaya kwekugara, kushaya pekurara. Kwandiri ndizvo zvandinoti urombo. Kana uinazvo zvinhu izvozvo uchikwanisa kudya, kunwa, kupfeka, kurara, hausi murombo. Mubvunzo wako wepiri, unozviti uri murombo here? Aiwa, ina handisi murombo. Ndinodya, ndinowana chikafu changu chandinoda kudya, ndinokwanisa kutenga hembe dzangu dzandinopfeka, ndine pekurara, ndine pekugara. Zvandinotozoshuvira zvimwe zvinhu zvekuti dai ndaiwana imba yakakura seino, dai ndaipfeka hembe yakadarika ino, asi ndinazvo zvese zvandinazvo. Ndinokwanisa kudya, ndine pekurara pakanaka, ndine hembe dzangu dzekupfeka. Saka aiwa, handisi murombo. Mubvunzo wetatu, unofunga kuti pane chinopedza urombo here? Hongu, ndinofungidzira kuti pane chinokwanisa kupedza urombo. Matarisiro atinoita zvinhu ndizvo zvinopedza urombo. Nokuti chinoitika ndechekuti munhu anowana chikafu chake chekuti adye ipapo, asi unonzwa achishuvira kuti dei ndadya icho, dei ndawana icho, asi apa akaguta. Saka kwandiri ndinoti matarisiro atinoita urombo ndiwo anokwanisa kuti tibvise urombo pasi pano. Nekuti kana wakadya wakaguta, wakapfeka, une pekurara, hakunaba munhu murombo.
Ubóstwo to stan umysłu, w którym tracimy zdolność do działań dla poprawy własnego losu. Wynika to zazwyczaj ze złożonej sytuacji i okoliczności, w których się znajdujemy, nie potrafiąc znaleźć rozwiązania. Nie traktuję siebie jako biednego. Mam wykształcenie, doświadczenie, przyjaciół i rodzinę. Rozwiązaniem dla biedy jest edukacja.
Family, you have heard it from the psychiatrist and from the registered psychiatric nurse. Now let us do some troubleshooting. Practical economic ways of preserving our mental health. Practical economic ways of preserving our mental health. 1. Start the mornings with a short meditation, devotion, or affirmation exercise. 2. Focus on the positives and set practical goals and priorities for the day. 3. Do some stretches, yoga, or at least 30 minutes of exercise, walking, cycling, or using the elliptical. 4. Eat a healthy breakfast or have a cup or glass of a nutritious smoothie. 5. Hydration is paramount. Therefore, drinking the correct amount of daily water is essential. Since weight is one variable that changes, we should not fix the amount of water consumed to just 8 glasses. A rule of thumb equation is our weight in pounds times 0.5 equal the correct amount of water per day in ounces. For example, if your weight is 210 pounds, that times 0.5 equals 105 ounces of water per day, or 2.98 liters. Round off 3 liters. 6. Engage in extra rewarding giving activities such as gardening, vegetables or flowers, community outreach programs, and or sports. 7. Adequate rest is vital for the body to reset. Some recommendations are for at least 6 to 8 hours daily. Notwithstanding, this may vary depending on lifestyles and commitments. Try getting at least 5 to 8 hours with relaxing periods throughout the day. Failure to do so may be detrimental or life-threatening. These are some basic ideas for mental health preservation. The list could be modified or tailored to your desire. That said, please stay tuned for the next episode from another perspective. Family, let us now be ambassadors of great positive healthy changes. Together, we soar and succeed. The time is now. Bendiga. Bless.